Hey everyone, DrShnig here, and welcome back to another episode of how to make a 3D text synchronized intro in Blender. In this episode, we're getting into compositing, and so yeah, now go up here where it says default and select compositing. We need a render layer node, so first of all select to use nodes and then select backdrop. And it adds these. We're going to move this out a bit. Then we need a glare node. Okay, search and add node. And then we want a glare node. Put it here. Here where it says streaks, put fog glow and set this from medium to high. And buff the threshold, whatever you want to call it, down a bit. Next we want to add a lens distortion node, so we can move this back here. Then add search and lens distortion node, and put that right there. And then just add a viewer node, so search and add node, viewer, and put that there, and take that and put that there. And now when we render the image, it will put it back behind here. Why is that all weird and stuff? But yeah, see, it actually gives off a little glow thanks to this. If we add the distortion up, it pounds it in a bit, or dispersion. We'll change the colors. Put that back down, and there we go. Also, you want to do auto render, and now we're gonna fix this text thing. So there we go. I fixed the glitch. All I did was scaled this white stuff a bit down in the y-axis. So now we've got our little glow thing, and if we there we go. Pause it right there, and that's what I wanted. So render image. I want to see how this ends up. And so there you go. The cubes don't give off a glow, but the spirals, however, do. But by clicking fit here and editing the distortion, you can see how you can set it to 1 without it having any transparency on the background and it just bulging into the screen. Or you can set it to -0.5 and it just zooms out and squishes the inside. But not quite a good of a result, so I don't suggest doing that. So go to default and then select your text. Go to the first frame. You want it to change color, so I want it to change at 220 on the second. So right there, hover over here over the material color, hit I, and then move 1 frame aside and select the next color, which in my case will be yellow, and then hit I again. So now select the Trapcode and hit I, and then next frame select the yellow and hit I again. 333, I believe it was. Yeah, okay, so it was I again. 1 frame aside. Choose a different color. I'm choosing cyan. Go back, select the text, I, next frame, select cyan, and I, and now it changes. Select a spiral, the spiral that you change the color, or both of them if you change the color for both of them. I'll make it a bit more aligned so that it works better with the text. Anyways, go here, and then the next frame, you turn it to yellow, or I'll change it to a lighter yellow. There we go. Now the spiral also changes color. And now we've just got to make sure it works with the Trapcode. Yep, it does. I want to get into getting a different background. So I've downloaded a foggy mist background for the background of this, and I'll show you guys it. Well, show it to you guys. And as far as I know, we are going to, well, first I'm going to save this. Okay, so this should be quite easy. Just Control A, right click, colors, brightness, contrast, brightness, and then turn the brightness quite a bit down. And there we go. So colors, brightness, contrast. Might lower it up down a bit more. Up, up. Ah. What's that? Oh. Up, up, up. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Now I've got to export it. There we go. That's looking a lot better. So here I am with a done template. I'm just going to show you guys how you do it. So you're going to want to add a render layer node. So search and add node. No wait, image node. Image. There we go. So we've got our image node, and then you're going to want to add a scale node. So enter scale. Enter. And then you're going to want to put this image to here, image, and drag this image on top, and this image, this render layer's image down here. You're going to want to set render size here, just as it says here, and now I can delete these. Set this to your smoke background, and then when you render the image, it's going to do the compositing, and it's going to look like this, with the glow and the smoky background stuff. In order to get that fog background to come to the back, so you're going to go under this render tab over here in default, then open up shading tab and set alpha from sky to transparent. This will make the world be transparent, so instead of the blackness behind the Trapcode, it's just going to have transparency. And there we go. Now we've got our smoke on the background, and it looks pretty freaking awesome, I must say. What I'm gonna do though is darken it more. Wait, X and then open it. Okay, and now when it does the compositing, which it should, we've got the mist in the background there. Go here into default and render image. See if it does the compositing here. So it should render a transparent image for the first one, and then bind it to that shading and selected transparent here on alpha instead of sky. Here we have a render layers node and an image node. Then here we have a scale node attached to the image. Bind it like that, and you attach the render layer top and for the image and bind it down here to the alpha over, and then do the opposite with this. Bring this alpha over to glare, fog glow in high, threshold 0.3, lens distortion I put in fit, then we bound a composite node, use alpha, and we put a viewer node and use alpha. So anyways, go to the first time when it does that little thing, sort of, and that is at 110. So again, I'm here with the with recording after I've already done everything, because I'm not satisfied with how I did it while recording the tutorial first take. So right here, you're going to want to go to the lens distortion node. So now we're going to do the bulging. So you're going to go to frame 110. You're going to set the distort to 0, the dispersion to 0, and also set this to fit, and hit I on each of them. Then go to frame 115, and then have it also keyframe to 0 and 0. And then go to frame 107 and put the distort up a bit. I'm going to put this to 0.5, and I'll put the dispersion up by 1. And then I'll go back to So from 207, 250, 50, 0, 0. Okay, so there's this problem. I'm going to remove this lens distortion node, then search, Shift A, search, lens distortion, put that there, fit, image, 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 render image. Okay, and now we have a fresh node, so click here, go 108. I'll go, and then hit I, and I, while hovering over distort and dispersion, then go up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then buff it up, so 0.45 I'll put here, and 0.1, and then I, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just set it back down to 0. I, and then it'll go in and out at that particular place. So if we go to 100, and there we go, 113, it should be punching in as far as it will go. Set this to UV image editor, render result, and there we go. So that's how the render result is right now. And then viewer node, this is how it looks with the compositing. So yeah, and then just do this for the other ones. So 220, wait, right here. So yeah, 220, we keyframe it there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 0.4 and 0.2. I want the dispersion to go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 0 and 0, I, and now it will change this. And there we go. So this is what it looks like, but of course this is not it. So render image, and there we go. So now it's going to do the compositing, and there we go. It's bulged in also. And then the last one we want to do is over at 333, which is, by the way, triple Illuminati. So right here should be the next. Okay, that is really loud. And 331, exit. I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, 5. And then distort, let's put 0.6 and dispersion to 0.3. So that's just larger than before. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 0, I, 0, I. And there we go. And this is how it looks when it's bulging in. So let's just see it with a cyan change. And there we go. So that's how it's going to look when it's actually rendered with the compositing in it with the full thing. But if you go down a bit, next few frames, it's going to have the bulging go down a bit. Could you please do your stuff? Exit the distortion. Is it 0? Oh, here, now it's going to composite. So yeah, now it's back to normal here. So we're done, and then you will go up here into the render tab. Just scroll down. If you want it to be simple, select Xvid, and then go like here on output, select Xvid, find your folder you want it to output to. Okay, and then click accept. You're going to want to save your file again. Do some last minute improvements. So I'm going to go into default. And I think I'll buff up the velocity to like 9. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then save again. And then, as I was saying, go here. You'll go dimensions. For HD, you'll set it to 1920 and 1080. The frame rate is 24 frames per second because that's how we put it down here. It's rendering as up here. Up there, it's rendering as 24 frames per second because of this. We'd have to edit the whole project if we wanted to set it to more frames per second. But you can what you can do, I believe. I haven't tried this, so don't blame me if you screw your whole project up. I believe you can like select everything, and then here, and then scale 2, and like that'll double the frame rate. Then just move the first frame back up here, and set this to 48 frames per second, and it'll have a lot smoother frame rate. But I'll test that separately, and not now, as I think 24 is just fine. 25 is basic for animations. I don't see why you'd put 60 frames per second unless you're completely desperate for longer rendering. The less frames per second, the less rendering it has to go through. And then you can close dimensions. Under anti-aliasing, this is how many samples it will be per pixel of rendering. If you want higher resolution, put 16, but that'll almost crash. 5 and 8 is what I use ever, and if I really want an HD wallpaper, then I'll use 16 rarely. And you can set the size down also to 0.5, so it will render half a pixel, half a Blender unit pixel on the rendered image 16 times. So that's for Super HD and Blender render. All those cycles is for HD rendering. And if you want it to render faster, then put 1.5, so it'll do 5 samples per 1.5 Blender unit pixels. This is usually the setting I use, but if I'm using doing animations that don't need high quality or don't have complicated materials, I'll set it to 5. Go under shading, you'll make sure that this is transparent so that you can have the fog, the smoke thing in the background. If you do not want that, then you'll go up here into world environment and set this and remove this transparent. Now you can close off anti-aliasing. Sampled motion blur not enabled because we don't have motion blur in this. I wish I could use my CPU for the rendering, or my GPU, which is graphics processing unit or core processing unit, but that's only in cycles, unfortunately. So post-processing, just make sure it's like this, because then it's compositing. In sequencer is for the audio and stuff, video sequencer, and compositing is the compositing nodes we just edited. It won't work without that enabled. I can't speak today. Enabled. Go under freestyle, nothing, stamp, nothing, output. You want to set it to your thing. Select Xvid here if you want to export it to a video. Encoding, these are presets. H.264 is a pretty good one. So format H.264 lossless output. This means that it will actually output like all. If you really going for HD stuff, like, I'm not sure, I've never ticked this, but lossless means that you don't lose any sound in the rendering. Then you'll go down to audio codec, set it to MP3 or anything else that you like. We'll go over here and select animation. Remember, if you render it like this with video, then you will not be able to stop and pick up where you were rendering last, which really sucks. So I will use it. I use this very rarely because of that reason, because I like to render as images, and if I want a really quick change, then I quickly stop the rendering, set the start time to there, and edit that and re-render from that point. But yeah, that's really it. Hope you've enjoyed this series, or hope that it has helped you learn how to do anything of the following. The smoke texture will be in a download in the description, along with this template, and this is part of my Christmas special. If you did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.